don't always believe what everyone says, but just because of that voice is inside your head, we take it as gospel, take it as truth. But we can, just like we can decide to believe someone that's telling us something, "Oh, I don't believe her," you can do the exact same with your own thinking.
Yeah, and it's beautiful when we do. It's beautiful when we start to recognize that that's just made up. It's just a made up thought, and we don't have to do anything with it. We don't have to believe it. We don't have to do anything. We just let it go. Let it pass. Like you said, tell it to fuck off. Get it out of there. And I shouldn't say get it out of there because you know what? Just leave it alone. It'll go away.
Yeah. Mm.
And that is, yeah, that's the hardest part because especially when we get, like you said, you're overwhelmed. You got past the broken part. So now it's like trying to sneak in with something else.
Mm.
And when we see that that's just bullshit too, which you've already recognized that that's your overwhelm doing to you, just trying to sneak back in with some crap thought and it's not true. It's just making it up for one reason or another. Who cares why? I mean, honestly, that's kind of my thing when the weird thoughts come in. Who cares? I don't care. I don't care where it came from. I don't care what it's about. I don't care. I'm not gonna take that thought and just hug it and squeeze it and it's my best friend. No, bye. Were you gonna say, Jen?
I was just gonna say, I take my thoughts as where I'm at. Like if I tune in, I check in, and there's some, oh, I'm never gonna make it. Why am I even trying? You don't know what you're doing. You're bullshit or fucking whatever. I don't feed those thoughts. I'm just like, ooh, I'm not in a great place today. I'm not. And it just, I don't try to battle them anymore. I don't, I just let them be. I know that it's cloudy, and if I try to fly anywhere, it will be turbulent. So I decide not to fly when I'm having those thoughts. That's not a place I want to come from. I understand it's a low mood. The shitty committee's running the things and trying to just do a job that they think they have. And I just let them do what they're doing without helping. Because when I don't help, that shitty committee comes in and it makes a huge mess, right? Have my thinking everywhere. But when I don't believe it, and when I give it that space, like, ooh, so yeah, you need to get this out. It's like when you have a hyperactive kid, and it's like, why don't you just go outside and run for a little bit? You know? When I'm having those thoughts, it's just the shitty committee has to stretch their legs and run a little bit.
Yeah, I think you made a really important point there about not acting when you're in that space. It's the doing nothing. And that is really hard in the sense when I was suffering with my overwhelm, like obviously I have a business coach and they were telling me what to do. And because I was trying to do it from a place of lack and I was doing it from a place of overwhelm, the actions weren't matching. Well, they were matching. They were shit actions. And it's really hard, especially in this society, to do nothing because you feel like you're being lazy or you feel like you're not accomplishing your goals. And it's like, actually, I've done more today, energy wise, than I have the whole week because I decided to let myself do nothing. And I know that I will get inspired thinking because when I was with my coaches, obviously, they all teach you, like, well, you can't always be inspired. You can't always be aligned in your actions. And I understand where they're coming through, but I also don't agree. You know, one aligned action is more powerful than 100 unaligned actions. I feel like that's for me, truth. And so when we can allow ourselves to be in that place of doing nothing, that is the place where creativity, ideas, new thinking all come from. While we're trying to, can't even speak, while we're trying to force action, that's where we might as well just be flapping around. It's never really going to move the needle because it's not lined.
I get that. And sometimes we don't feel aligned. And sometimes we just feel overwhelmed and don't know what to do. When I find myself in that low mood with a bunch of thinking that, oh, I just want to check it out. So, I looked at it once and all of a sudden there's like 500 more shitty thoughts going right along with that one that I just wanted to look at and see. But it's not so much as the doing nothing. I mean, yes, it's doing nothing, but that's when I take the time to get present, I guess. I watch the birds, or I come in and just try to settle. It's going on, it's there, but I don't have to engage with it. I don't have to entertain it. I just have to keep myself from believing it.
Yeah, that's the kind of do nothing I mean, like
Yeah.
no like real action, but just being a human.
Yeah. Go for a walk. Look
Mhm.
at all of the beauty around you. I mean, there are things, not so much in the desert, but when you go to places that actually has life where things are supposed to live, it's, if you ever watch a plant, it doesn't have eyes, it doesn't have anything. But if you watch flowers, they're going to turn towards the sun. They know what to do to survive things that aren't thinking creatures, right? And when I can see the beauty in the life and how life will find a way, that helps me get out of that turbulent waves, because it's my thinking that gets in the way. If I can just be, life knows how to make it through me.
Right. What I wanted to add, and kind of, I think, what you both were pointing to is in that low mood, because we experience low moods. Why not? Right? We're humans. That's what happens. It's life. Low moods come in. That's not the space to make a decision. That's not the space to try to be creative. That's not the space to try to progress forward in your career or whatever decision you're trying to make. It's not a good place to make any sort of decision ever, because, like you said, Melissa, the decisions are going to match, they're going to align with that low mood. So, yeah, whether it is going and being present, some people know what it looks like for them, to go be present. Jen, going out in nature, you know, yeah, some people, they do know what that looks like. Some people do not. They don't know what it looks like for them, how to get present, how to be in the moment, how to do nothing. And it's in this understanding, and it's in the space of the quiet. It is. It's in the pause. It's in the calm. It's in the reflection. You can be in a low mood and still be at peace.
And kind and compassionate.
Mhm.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was one day, I think it was last week, where I was in a low mood, but exactly what you just said. Like, I was in a low mood, but I was still peace. That's a really weird sensation to like be in, like feeling completely peaceful but still being in a low mood. But yeah, I don't even have words to describe like what that feels like.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was pointing to, is it is weird. But because you think, okay, they don't go hand in hand, right? I can't feel shitty and be peaceful, but yes, you can. And it is very hard to try to describe that mood or that feeling of being in a low mood and being totally at peace.
Mhm.
We will always have low moods, you know? Think about if you own a house, even if you don't like the basement, there's still times you have to go to the basement. You
Mm.
know, our minds are the same things. There's going to, it's going to go down. But if you don't freak out, if you don't try to change it, if you allow it and just know it's going to be okay, it will change, then you can find some cool shit in your basement, man. And I know that sounds weird, but sometimes being in a low mood, but in that accepting it and not feeding it can bring such beauty and understanding, especially the first time you're in a low mood and peaceful, not concerned about it. You know, that has this beauty of the, oh my fucking God, you can do this. It is okay. Like it does happen.
Yeah, I love that. I love like the basement and a metaphor. Like that really hit me.
Yeah, it's perfect because for most people, right, in older homes and that kind of stuff, basements, unfinished basements, you know, a lot of people, especially if we look at movies and stuff, basements are scary, right?